Welcome to Butter Legs. We don't always get things right, but we're real good triers.
We watch movies and make music inspired by the experience. Fair warning, there are spoilers.
We oftentimes talk about mature subjects, and we say dirty words while we're at it.
Here we go! Today is very exciting. We are going to be talking about the Blade Runner movies. Both of them. We're going to be talking about Blade Runner from 1982 and Blade Runner 2049.
I'm glad you said that because I was like, what are we even talking about? It's been a while.
Who decided to invent the mustache? Have I brought that up?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Is it like, were they going for an upper lip brow?
You know, this is interesting. Who is the earliest mustache that you can think of? Yosemite Sam?
Yeah, him and Hitler.
I think Hitler predates
No, Chaplin.
Chaplin.
Yep.
You know, Civil War times, they were just overflowing with mustaches. But
Was it
all
Ulysses?
of them were like connected somehow
To each other or to the other parts of hair on the head?
to the other parts of hair on the head. Their mustaches were more like it was more like an octopus, you know. It was like attached to their face and like wrapped around the sides of their
Unlike
head.
most mustaches, it's like attached to their face.
It was like a separate entity attached to their face and holding on, and like holding on to the sideburns as little handles.
You think George Washington ever just rode up and he had like a full mustache and he's like, what's that on your face? And he's like, I'm trying something new.
Then he was embarrassed.
Yeah, he was real embarrassed because it didn't catch on. He's like, it's the mustache. It's the lip brow.
They didn't have a word for it back then. It was the lip brow, the lip wig.
Lip wig.
The lip brow, as it were. Part of the wig party. Got eggnog in my mustache.
Gross.
That is kind of gross.
It's super gross.
You know, speaking of mustaches, I was just thinking the other day, what if
I'm already mad.
What if C-3PO was hairy? What if C-3PO had a mustache? I don't know why specifically C-3PO, but like, what if C-3PO had various like hair on him? Like what if he was like walking around wearing a wig?
Trying something new.
Everything else was just the same.
Or some pubis.
Wait, what? What did you just say? What did you just say?
Some pubis.
Oh, God. Gross. We can't say this.
Master Luke, I finally passed a big milestone in my life.
I got the pubis.
Jesus Christ. Oh, my God.
You go to the barber shop, right? And
Nope.
No,
no, I actually have not been to the barber in a long time.
that's right.
But picture somebody going to the barber and they
Okay.
put that article on you. You know, that
The cape?
I was about to say, what do you call that?
It's called a cape.
What do you call it, Alex?
Oh. Like an apron?
It's not an apron.
Oh.
I mean, do you
Barbers-
generally wear aprons up around your neck, meat?
But the barber's apron. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's an anti-hair poncho.
It's called a cape.
Now,
It's actually called a cape.
I don't understand a cape. I thought a cape was like on the back and it was like, you know, flowing.
It
you know.
doesn't. They're not saying that it's being worn correctly. It's just what it's called. It's an incorrectly worn cape.
So somebody put a cape on wrong and they were like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
this is actually a good thing.
basically.
Canaveral's a cape.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty funny.
Or not.
Have I brought up door holding yet?
No.
What is the acceptable amount of distance to let me just say
Yes.
this, Normal.
Okay. Yes. Let's talk about this.
So what's the acceptable amount of distance that you can have between yourself and yourself being right at the door and the person behind you to where you don't have to hold the door
Right.
and not feel like a dick?
I know.
And furthermore, why do we have to hold the door for people in general? Now, I'm not people with accessibility needs. Yeah, that's legit. Hold the door for that person with the wheelchair or the elderlies with the walker or whatever have you. But if they're fine, why do we have to hold the door for them? Let's grab the door.
So I have feelings about both sides of this relationship. I kind of hate it when someone does the door thing, especially when their distance acceptableness is really far, because then you feel pressure to fucking get there. And I'm like, I'm walking at my own pace, and now you've put me in this situation where I have to like hurry my ass up to get there. And like, we didn't like talk about this beforehand. Like, you just thrust me into this situation, and now I'm part of this whole thing, and then I gotta say thank you and get on the elevator with you and
Go home with you.
no but it's the whole thing. And then like on the other hand, I just like, because I feel so strongly about that, I kind of don't like to hold the door for people, but I know you're supposed to, or I know that people do. And so I don't like any of it. I wish that everyone would just kind of keep doors to themselves.
And don't you hate it when you're the role of door holder and like a family of 40 just keeps going through? It's like, someone's supposed to take the door and take the torch from me.
I know.
Of the door holding.
The relay race
Dicks.
of doors.
Screw you and all your children.
Yeah. One thing that can kind of happen is sometimes there's, I don't know the best word for it, a vestibule sort of situation. And there's two sets of doors. And we have this at our local gym. There's two sets of doors.
Yes.
And so sometimes you'll open up that first door, hold it for somebody, they walk in, and then they have to hold the next door for you. And you play leapfrog through the doors.
I know. It's so stupid.
Anyway, door holding, it sucks unless someone actually needs you to hold the door.
There's a lot of those things like, I don't know. I guess it's just like, I just don't like talking to strangers. And it's even like you get on the elevator and someone's like, what floor? I'm like,
None of your business.
yeah, like, can I just floor myself? Like, why do I have to? You don't have to intervene flooring for me. Can I just do it? Everybody wants to talk to each other. It's weird. I don't want to talk to anybody except for my Butter Leggings.
Because y'all don't talk back.
Exactly.
Email us at hello@butterleggspodcast.com. Hey, friends.
Hi.
Hi.
What are butter legs?
What a Butter Legs! What a Butter Legs! What a Butter Legs!
Welcome to What Are Butter Legs? It's the trivia game show that works a lot like Jeopardy. All right, let's spin the wheel to see who's going to go first today.
I bet you $1 million is Alex. Yep. It's always Alex.
Hey, Tom.
Today's categories are 2019, which is the year that the first Blade Runner movie takes place in. Next category is Hans Zimmer, who did the music for the second Blade Runner movie. And then the third category is cells interlinked. And you'll see the word linked there is in quotes. So every response is going to have link in it.
Okay.
And then we have the two mystery clues they're pretty tough questions, but they're worth $1,500 each. So Alex, as perpetual winner of the wheel, you go first.
Hans Zimmer also did the music for Forrest Gump.
No, he did not.
Or was that Danny Elfman?
Not Danny Elfman either.
Neither one.
Oh.
That would make for a very interesting soundtrack, though. This is Forrest Gump. This is Forrest Gump. Runs across America with a great big beard.
He's kind of tired now. Guess he'll go home.
It took me a second.
Cells interlinked for 800.
Cells interlinked. In September of 2024, this new metal band announced singer Emily Armstrong will be their new lead singer, providing her talents to songs such as Numb and In the End.
First of all, what is new metal? Remind me.
I don't think I can.
Oh.
Part of the job.
Although that is something they do on Jeopardy. Hang on, Ken. What's that big word in the middle? You said something kind of funny there that I didn't know what it was. Can you tell me what that is?
What is evanescence?
That is incorrect. Sin.
Steal.
Okay, go for it.
What is Lincoln Park?
That is correct. Lincoln Park. Remember the category there. Every response in that category will have link somewhere in there. All right, Sin, your turn to choose.
All right. I'm going to go for the hard one, B, as in boy.
1500B. The Greek equivalent of Eve, the first woman on Earth, she was also blamed for all of our troubles.
Oh, yeah, and then the Greek things are fake, right?
Well, not all Greek things are fake. But in this case, they are. I'll give you that it is Greek mythology.
It's mythology. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Much like Eve. Much like Eve, it's mythology.
Yeah. You know I never know the difference, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, like, okay, so remind me, Trojan War, fake? Real?
Debatable.
Debatable?
It's probably loosely based on some real events, if I remember
Achilles, fake? Real?
Fake.
Pegasus, fake?
Fake.
Real? Okay, got it. The Greek equivalent of Eve. Who is Athena?
That is incorrect.
Okay.
Alex, would you like to try a fun answer, or do you want to try for serious?
I'll do a fun answer.
Okay.
Who is Eloise?
That is incorrect. No, we're looking for who is Pandora.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cells interlinked for 600. Now that I know the link is in it better.
Cells interlinked
Paying
for
attention.
600. A slang term for an intermittent indicator that a roadway vehicle requires access to the left or right of itself.
Intermittence.
Remember that Metallica song, Intermittent?
A blinky light. What is that? Blinker. What is a blinker?
Yes, I'll give it to you. Yeah.
There.
I was debating on whether Blinky would suffice.
Well, that's what the Brits say. I didn't, but I forgot we're in America.
That's right. Sometimes you just forget which country you're in. Okay.
Yeah, it happens.
It happens to all of us. Sid, which clue would you like?
That middle category looks terrible.
Yeah, I'm scared of that one. Let's do 2019 for 800, and I probably won't know the answer.
This rapper, singer, songwriter had the massive hit Old Town Road, heard here.
I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my...
Who is Lil Nas?
I think I can give you that. Mm-hmm. Unless Alex can give a little bit better answer.
Who is Nas?
No, that's a worse answer.
Oh, he ain't Lil no more.
It's Lil Nas X.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but I'll give it to you. I think that's close enough.
Let's do Cells interlinked for 400.
Often noted as The Price is Right's most popular game, the contestant drops something and hopes for the best.
What is Plinko?
That's right.
Okay, I think I want to do... No one wants to do Hans Zimmer, Jay. Only you know that shit. Let's do Cells Interlink for 200, and I hope I know the answer.
It's the helical spring toy invented in the 1940s.
I thought this would be a question about Legend of Zelda. I was wrong.
You thought there would be a response that includes word link that is just link?
Yes. What is Slinky?
That's right, Slinky.
1500A, please.
1500A. Here we
For
go.
question mark.
You're going to love this one. Here we go.
What's a robot?
This one's going to be Link.
It's the name for an ancient missile launcher that was used as a siege weapon to hurl javelins and stones. Think giant crossbow the size of a minivan.
Oh, I know this.
What is an atlatl?
That is incorrect.
Oh.
It sounds like a French word, doesn't it?
I cannot tell you.
Answer it for real. Croissant.
Okay, let me tell you why I know the name of this. So, you know that show on TLC? Like, TLC is just always the shows of, like, kind of atypical folks. And this show particularly highlights atypically not tall folks. And they had one of these things because they have a pumpkin farm that they would put pumpkins on and throw them, and they would say the name, and I thought it was like I don't remember what it's called.
Ah, shoot.
So I'm not gonna. Okay, I'll guess for funsies.
Okay.
What is ha ha ha?
No, that is incorrect.
Okay.
The correct answer is ballista.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking of. Hold on one second.
I think you were thinking a trebuchet.
That is. What's the difference?
A trebuchet is a type of catapult, and some people are like, no, it's not a catapult, it's a separate thing. But it's it's more like a slingy type thing. It's got a big weight and a big arm, and it goes and it tosses
So
things.
what would be the difference in this and that? Because it just says missile launcher.
It also says think giant crossbow.
Got it. Okay.
And it's Sin's turn to choose.
Okay. 2019 400.
The group sets out to reverse the actions of Thanos after he erased half the life in the universe in this epic film from 2019.
Oh, no.
And just to help out, I realize that my grammar is a little bit odd in here. I'm looking for the second movie that follows after the one where Thanos erased half the life. This is the one where they're going back to reverse his actions.
What is Endgame?
That's right. Avengers Endgame. Mm-hmm.
20. You know what? Hans Zimmer for 200.
The song Why So Serious was part of Zimmer's soundtrack for this 2008 movie.
What is The Dark Knight?
That is correct. The Dark Knight.
Damn, that's good.
That was good. That's a good movie.
I'm scared of this category.
The big clue there, of course, was
The name of the name of the song.
Why So Serious. Mm-hmm. Sin, where are we going?
2019 600.
She's the singer heard here in her 2019 song Bad Guy.
I'm that bad type, make your mama sad type, make your girlfriend mad type, might seduce your dad type. I'm the bad guy.
Oh, I know it.
Who is Billie Eilish?
That's exactly right. Yes.
Hans Zimmer for 400.
Hans created the otherworldly soundtrack for this 2021 movie starring Timothée Chalamet.
What is Dune?
That is correct.
Taquitos! They're real good!
What is Lion King?
Which, by the way, Hans Zimmer also did the music for.
No, really? Give me old Hans Zimmer for 800, why don't you?
Okay. Gal Gadot could have played the new game called Tetris in this movie that Hans made music for. Heard you.
What does Tetris have to do with anything? Is this the movie?
Oh, I get it.
I don't. Gal Gadot could have played the new game because it's in the 80s. What is Wonder Woman?
That is incorrect.
I would like to answer.
Dang
Go
it.
ahead, Alex.
What is Wonder Woman 1984?
That's correct.
Oh, yes. Good job.
Thank you.
Tetris was a new game in 84.
Yeah, got it. Got it.
Pretty good game.
Pretty good game. Oh, man.
Good game.
That one Tetris Connection.
Compound.
Tetris Connection. Play that one on Xbox. Ooh, it's so much fun.
It is really fun. It has really good music. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, they have music in there. It's like, taquitos. That's in there, too.
Drop my shampoo.
Drop the shampoo in the shower. Drop the shampoo. Conditioner.
Hans Zimmer for 600. I hardly know her.
Hans provided music for this 2014 movie, which had Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway traveling through a wormhole.
All right. I'm going to say what is, in the form of Matthew McConaughey, I'm going to say what is Interstellar.
That is correct. Interstellar.
All right.
All right, I'll take the last one, 2019 for 200. You know, and man, what's that crime show they were in?
Oh, True Detective. Ooh.
Woo!
That first
season. So good. That's the best one.
They
It's
did
the best
some-
one.
That was a good one.
I haven't seen the Jodie Foster's one, though.
It's good. It's just it's very different.
That was a good Matt McConaughey performance, though, in that first season. Oh, man.
He acted good.
All right, 2019 for 200 Butterbucks. Here we go. In 2019, we were mesmerized by Grogu on this Disney Plus series.
What the hell is that called?
I can't think. Hold on. Because I know it's not called Baby Yoda. Hold on one second. Oh. What is The Mandalorian?
That is correct. Wow. So at the end of all that, you two are both tied at 700 Butterbucks.
Whoa!
Unprecedented.
Let's take a look at the final buttery category. It is exploration. Here is your final buttery clue. In 1972, Eugene Cernan visited this place. No human has been there since.
I guess your bud isn't an answer, huh?
Mom's house.
Is that right?
Let's start with Sin.
Is that right?
Sin's response: somewhere in the Antarctica or something. And then second answer, The Mary Anus Trench? Question mark. Neither of those are correct for many reasons. And Sin bet 700 butterbucks, and she is now at 0.
Why don't I know? Thanks.
Let's see what Alex put in. Alex responds, "What is the moon?" And then, "What is Diego Luna? But how is the moon, though?" Question mark. And that is correct. It is the moon.
But we've been to the moon.
And he was the last one to do it.
He's the last one to do it, though.
Oh, I was totally reading this as this person has been to a place and no one else has ever been there.
Oh, no one's been there since.
And also, it wouldn't have mattered because I didn't know he was the last person to go to the moon. I was like, CERN?
I didn't either.
Alex bet 700 butterbucks, bringing him to 1,400, and he is today's butter
Okay.
champion.
Good game.
Yay!
Good game.
Good game.
Good game.
I haven't won in a while, and I'd like to thank all the Butter Leggings. Thank you
For their support.
For your support. Don't talk to me.
Butter, 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 baby, baby, butter, 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 baby, butter, Blade Runner, butter.
So yeah, today's movies, we got 2 of them. We got Blade Runner, released in 82, and Blade Runner 2049, which was released in 2017.
2017.
Let's start off with Blade Runner from 1982.
When was the first time you saw this movie?
I saw this movie, like, I want to say just kind of like on my own when I was probably like 15 or 16 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Probably rented it from Blockbuster. Maybe bought DVD. We had DVDs at that point. I can't remember. And I probably watched it a bunch, and Alex is probably like, "Oh, cool, watching Blade Runner."
Yeah. It's boring.
I was introduced to Blade Runner at Governor School, and I was there in 1988. So it'd been out like 6 years or so.
Yeah.
And they had they were like symbolism. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, symbolism.
Yeah, we also watched it in a film lecture class and whenever I went to college, and I was already very familiar with the movie, and so I had a leg up on that particular assignment. This is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Agreed.
I absolutely love both of these movies.
Gonna cry.
I'm gonna cry a little bit about it. Yeah, this first movie, it takes place in Los Angeles in 2019, and it was made in 82. So, they were looking, 30 years into the future, essentially, making a wild guess at what the world could be like in a very extreme situation. And I just love how the movie opens up with that red, fiery landscape of Los Angeles and the flying cars,
Which we still don't have.
And even the very first sounds in the movie, it's that soundtrack from I'm actually not sure how to say his name, Vangelis. You know that it's something very unfamiliar.
I think I do think it's kind of interesting how there was foresight, forward thinking to incorporate like super multicultural, because that is how the world is becoming more and more. Because I would say, like, when this was made, I mean, definitely we had a global economy, but definitely not like it is now. And so if they're trying to forecast in the future of, well, when there's flying cars, we'll have this very like global mix in cities where, I don't know, like the food is, is Asian focused, and a lot of the ads and stuff. And it was just that was cool.
I like some of that chicken lo mein. Y'all like chicken lo mein?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the scene where Deckard is eating the noodles, I'm always like, I want some of those noodles.
You know what I don't like in lo mein though is the Napa cabbage. Don't like that. So yeah, Harrison Ford, Deckard Cain. Wait, what's his name?
Stay a while and listen.
He's like, what's a turtle? What's a tortoise?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Leon did.
He's like, I'm ugly. What's a tortoise?
You know, there's a similar. This is so random, and we're not supposed to talk about Michael Jackson, but this has to do with Michael Jackson. Have you ever seen the video for Bad? You ever seen that video for Bad?
I've heard Weird Al's.
Okay,
Bad.
there's a cinematic part that precedes the video where this guy's like, where'd you get those tortoise shell glasses? He's like, they're tortoise shell. And then he thinks he's being stuck up because he knows the word tortoise shell instead of turtle shell. So every time I see Blade Runner, I always think of Michael Jackson. I'm bad.
You know what a turtle is? Same thing.
I know. See? It's the same thing. In I'm Bad video.
Right from the start, the police chief Bryant is talking with Deckard about the job that he wants to give Deckard. Deckard is Harrison Ford's character. And he says, I want you to track down these replicants that are that escape from this off-world colony. And that's always been a part of the story that I have found so fascinating. And I've always wanted to see some sort of series or a movie or something that explores that, because they only allude to it in this movie that Roy, Leon, Zora, Pris, they're all these bioengineered replicants that were operating as slaves on some off-world, not on Earth, and they escaped that situation and hijacked the shuttle and came to Earth. And I think that whole story right there sounds so interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Roy.
Yeah, interesting names you bring up, Alex. Leon, Roy. Where, I mean, it's funny if you're Southern because you say them that way in your head. You're like, Leon, Roy. But if you're not, if you're like, I don't know, like Rutger Howard, you're like, Roy, Leon, it's different.
Yeah. I wonder if they went for those kind of like almost like working class names, I guess you could say, on purpose, because these replicants, they are used as slaves for labor purposes.
And then like Pris is obviously, she's a pleasure model, so
yeah, Pris and Zora much more exotic sounding, I guess you could say.
Old Roy dog food.
And then we meet Rachel,
Yeah.
the replicant that doesn't know that she's a replicant.
Got her hair in a bun.
Got her hair in a bun. Yeah, it is interesting. Like Rachel has, or I guess the whole thing is kind of interesting because I know they filmed it in a large portion of the movie takes place in the, what's it called? That hotel.
Red Roof.
The Bradbury building. Okay. It's opposite the Bradbury building in downtown Los Angeles. And so a lot of like the interior of like, Tyrell's office or whatever, or his living quarters and Rachel, they kind of have this like, Art Deco-ness to them.
That's right, yeah.
And it's just really interesting that like he either like obviously liked that aesthetic, making her that way, and I don't know. And yeah, anyway.
Yeah, no, I think part of it kind of plays into the whole noir thing.
Yeah, because he's a detective.
Yeah. It's such an interesting movie because so many elements are futuristic, while so many elements are nostalgic at the same time.
Yeah, because she definitely has like, not a modern woman of that time's look.
So later we meet the character J.F. Sebastian. He makes his own friends. He builds automatons that he refers to as his friends. And the building is also filled with mannequins. And I just want to point that out because one of the things that I love about Blade Runner are these different levels of creating things in your own image. essentially. You know, humans creating mannequins, you know, to look like themselves for different purposes, and these toys and automatons building the replicants that look like humans and act like humans and even have the emotions. And
yeah.
So along the way, it brings up the question of like, where are certain thresholds of where rights start, where emotions between the two beings happen? Because like J.F. Sebastian calls the automatons his friends. Are they really his friends? Or are they still things? Are the replicants that are trying to get more life, you know, where are their rights? You know, are they still things? Is it okay that they are slaves, but at the same time they're engineered to have the same emotions as us?
Getting all serious, Jay.
Well, that's what I love about these movies.
Are their freedoms not free?
Yeah,
That's
right. That's right.
Do they have a 4th of July?
Do they celebrate freedoms?
Do they know it's Christmas at all?
Were they born in the USA?
And of course, you know, one of the big questions that people keep asking Harrison Ford's character also in this is, are you a replicant? And he never answers the question.
It's because he doesn't like interviews.
Yeah. Now's a good time for a song. Alex, you want to share your song?
Yeah. This song is about Rachel and how her hair is in a bun and how she's kind of like she's from a time of yesteryear. Go ahead, JJ.
Got memory implants in her mind, photos of herself from 1899. Most likely, and they are both knowing it. She got memory implants in her mind, photos of herself from 1899. Oh, replicant can't take love away. Oh, replicant Butter legs.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, great
I
job,
did
Alex.
it. Thank you.
I love the like, what do you call that? The rhythm of it.
Cadence.
Yeah, the boom, kong. It's really cool. Really, really, really good. And I think what's really cool about it is where the piano parts lay in that. It's so purposely like, I don't want to use the word lazy, but laid back. And so it feels like
A little bit lazy.
it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's laid back, but also oddly powerful in its own way. Because,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because it just feels like there's those moments where you're like, or here it comes, dong, you know.
Yeah, it's real good.
It's also
real
because
good.
I'm not good at piano.
Oh no, it sounds like you're really good at piano.
It all sounds like very intentional. Yeah.
Good job.
I really like your vocal effects that you used on that one also. A lot of really cool stereo and kind of flanger types of stuff, type of effects. Worked really well with that one. And of course, piano, you know, that's brilliant because that plays into the piano that's featured in the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Rachel plays the piano.
Oh, you didn't intend that?
Not really.
Yeah, that was really good.
I intended it to maybe like do, and I do this a lot. You can picture this song being in the movie, at least in the credits or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Totally.
Totally. Hey, what
Hi.
about that eyeball scene
Which one with Chew?
with Chew?
I just do eyes. Yeah, they
Yeah.
put the eyeball on his shoulder.
They put the eyeball on his shoulder. The guy sticks his hand in the. I can't remember what's called. Aqua freeze.
Yeah, it's almost like a
Liquid nitrogen.
yeah, it's like a liquid nitrogen type of stuff.
Ooh, that one's good. Yeah, lots of eyes, lots of dreams. But yeah, the eyes are a definite symbol that runs throughout this movie in threads.
Yeah,
Dreams run throughout both movies quite a bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
which makes sense. It being based off the book, "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?"
Yep,
Which
totally.
I recently learned, newer editions of that book, they have changed the title to Blade Runner.
Oh, really?
Bishop King 7 checkmate, I think.
Love that line.
I think a scene that's really interesting also is that one where he finds that photo and he does the thing that people actually think you can do that you really can't. He's like, enlarge, enlarge, enlarge. And it gets like more clear, which maybe they can if we have flying cars in the future. Maybe that is a thing, but like there's someone that lives in our neighborhood. And we often talk about surveillance footage in our neighborhood because weird boomers think that, I don't know, that surveillance is somehow or another going to save them. And anyway, like cameras, right? So like home cams. And one time we had this discussion because I'm on the HOA board here for my neighborhood. And I was like, I posed the question. I was like, well, what's it really going to do? Because they were saying they wanted to put up signs saying this neighborhood is under video surveillance. I was like, no, we're not doing that. And I was like, what does it do anyway? Like, people's shit has gotten stolen and nothing's happened. He's like, oh, they can take that to the police and the police can enhance the video. Like, what kind of CSI bullshit have you been watching? Like, that's not a thing. Like, they're not going to take your Nest camera footage and like enhance it. But Decker did, and it's kind of cool the way he did it because, again, it's sort of like what I love about Alien is there's a very realistic kind of in the moment technology with also future, right?
Yeah.
So like he's like, enhance, and it's like kind of going, it's making this like clunky sound, and it's real like, I don't know, 80s. Mm-hmm. It's not like virtual reality, it's very analog, but it's also computer at the same time.
Yeah. Also, if you look closely, whenever he's panning around on the image while zoomed in, it actually moves in layers. It's a 3-dimensional photograph. I thought that was a really cool element to that they put in. It's real subtle, but very cool.
I don't remember that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then like you discover there's a snake scale, and that kind of leads him to Zora, which to me is one of my favorite scenes. Legend of Zora. One of my favorite scenes is when they're running through the club and he's trying to kill her, and she crashes through this window. It's in slow motion. Mm-hmm. She has on this clear plastic rain jacket. It shatters. This light's behind her. This music's really epic. And I don't know, that scene is just really memorable for me for some reason.
Oh, for sure. It's visually, it's stunning and it's emotional. Mm-hmm. And also, once again, Ridley Scott thought to put in the imagery of there's also these mannequins that are all standing around watching the scene, essentially.
Yeah, totally. I will say one thing about that scene that it doesn't ruin it for me, but it always kind of drives me crazy. So when Zora's getting dressed, talking to Deckard, very intently puts on these high-heeled boots, right? Zips them up or straps them on or whatever she does. They make sure you see that. And in that scene, because it's a stunt, she's got on flat boots. I'm like, she did not change shoes. There was no time to change shoes. But, and I told Jay, I was like, that's because a man filmed this and didn't think that people would notice, but I fucking noticed every time. I'm like, she changed shoes. Anyway.
So the other thing about Blade Runner and some of Ridley Scott's other movies is he always kind of puts in this dynamic of people destroying their own creator, like wanting to meet their own creator and then destroying them. And we see this with Roy killing Tyrell in his house, but then also like a becoming the god and also like a religious aspect to it, because there's obviously like the nail through the hand of Roy.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's disturbing to watch.
Super disturbing to watch.
Obvious symbolism there, and then he dies at the end and sparing Deckard in the process. So it's also kind of like
and the doves fly away. That's important.
Yeah, and the dove. It's such an interesting death scene, because you really expect him to kill Harrison Ford there at the end.
And I wonder, I've never read the book, and I wonder, so much of what we're talking about is Ridley Scott's vision, right? So, in the book, does it get, I think probably fundamentally it gets to those questions of like, what is the meaning of life? And, are we what does it mean to be human and all of that? But I really think that I imagine that Ridley Scott brought more of that to the movie than is in the book through visual aspects of it, for sure.
Yeah. And I can't wait to talk about more of that sort of stuff whenever we get into Prometheus and Covenant. Oh, so good.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's listen to another song.
Yeah.
My song is called The Runners. I mentioned earlier that I've always been fascinated by this untold story of the off-world colonies. And I was thinking of Roy Batty sitting on the off-world colonies, and maybe he's like looking up at Earth, like kind of dreaming about what life could be if he were to escape there. And while I was trying to think of music, I came across this little banjo thing, and suddenly there was like this little click of like, what if Roy Batty is in a little bit of like a Kermit the Frog situation, like Rainbow Connection. He's just like sitting there on a log on the off-world colonies, and and it didn't quite get at that level, but that was the initial angle, and then it took some J directions during the song making process. So here we go.
Kermit did a good job.
Thanks.
No, that was awesome.
Good job, JJ.
Thank you.
You can sing so low.
Oh yeah, thank you.
I know that too.
There's some kind of low ones. I did those first thing in the morning one Saturday.
I like the lyrics incorporate the advertisements that are happening during Blade Runner. About the off-world colonies.
Yeah. I took the advertisement from the blimp.
Yeah, it was very smart. Very good, Thank JJ.
We mentioned the Bishop to King 7 checkmate, I think. Did you all know that that part was based off an actual chess game?
No.
And it's called the Immortal Game. I think it involves a queen sacrifice.
Yeah, and so that's all quite appropriate, isn't it? The Immortal Game, because that chess game is what leads Roy to Tyrell's room in order to ask for more life.
Symbolism.
I did not know that. By the way, Butter Leggings, Alex is like a chess grandmaster, in case you didn't know.
I'm a grandmaster.
Flash. So, how many years before the second Blade Runner came out?
Yeah, the first one came out in 82 and the second one came out in 2017. So it's a difference of 35 years.
Whoa. So Blade Runner 2049 starts out with that good music.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, and of course, this one we have Hans Zimmer, who we talked about a lot earlier in the episode. Oh man, I love this soundtrack so much.
Yeah, and then we're introduced to Wallace. I don't know. Explain what happened. I mean, I kind of get it, but not really. He's a multi-billionaire that did something.
So after the events of the first Blade Runner, replicants became just flat out illegal. But then there was a famine, and Wallace, who is played by Jared Leto.
Robert Loggia.
Jared Leto, who I think did a phenomenal job, by the way.
Great job.
He helped the world out of this famine by he had access to the old Tyrell tech in order to make replicants. And he was like, I can get us through this. And so they're kind of forced to get back into the replicant game. And of course, Wallace has his own agenda there because he wants to play God. I think it's really interesting. The new generation of replicants, Ryan Gosling did such a good job of acting because he's constantly berated and there's all these slurs thrown at him, like it was stupid skin job as they call him. And even though he's like in a way not reacting, you can tell he's bothered by it.
Yeah. And they kind of, the 2049 one, I think, embraces a little bit more of technology as we know it now through like this idea of artificial intelligent girlfriend and the way the ads are acquiesce to whoever's walking by and things like that. So it's kind of, I don't know. I like that they leverage a little bit more of what's happening or what we could see as possible future. What is Wallace's, what's that character's name? I can't remember his name.
Wallace?
No, I'm sorry, the actor's name.
Jared Leto?
Robert Loggia.
Jared Leto, I think does a really, really, really good job of like being incredibly like passionate about what he's doing, but obviously also very cold and like unfeeling to humans and or non-humans. And I don't know, he just does a really, really, really good job of that. And I always think about this, the line he talks about, like, we've really lost the appetite for slavery, or something like that. He says something like that. But, that's kind of explored in the first movie as well, because, they are, slaves. But I think it's not Roy. Who's Leon says, like, it's quite a thing to live in fear or something like that. And, it's like, I don't know. It's just an interesting thing because
Leon and Roy both say the same sort of thing. Quite an experience to live in fear. That's what it is to be a slave.
Yeah, and I'm going to get a little bit deep here, but like people will oftentimes, when you talk about race in America and everything, people will oftentimes say, "Oh well, people have always had slaves and everything." But the thing that makes American and some of the British slavery different is that it was chattel slavery. So it's like slaves that were in prior to what happened in the United States. It was like you owned humans to do work. I mean, it's all horrible, right? But you owned humans. What America did is we owned property, quote unquote. And that's what really changed about, it's like completely dehumanizing humans. And so like even a lot of times in history, like if you owned a slave, you owned a slave. But if for some reason there was procreation, you didn't outright just own the child too. But that was also a thing in the United States, is because it was an object and we were producing more slaves. Like the whole thing is fucked up because of that. Like that's what's so different. And so this exploration of Wallace wanting these replicants to bear children, it's so like, I really think it speaks to like American history and what was happening here. And it would be interesting to like whoever wrote the screenplay for 2049. I wonder like how much they speak to that, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I love that about this movie because, you know, they explore that because Deckard and Rachel, we find out, had a baby.
Yeah.
At some point. So then the question is, you know, what is this child? You know, if the parents essentially were, if the parents were not quote unquote traditional humans.
Right. What does that mean?
What does that mean for this child? You know, what kind of rights does this child have? Are they human? What is going on here?
Right.
Is there hair in a bun?
Yeah. Is there hair in a bun?
Exactly. And this movie, it also explores the really interesting gray areas about the emotions that the replicants are feeling because, you know, Deckard wants to meet his daughter there at the end. Also, we get to see that Joe has his girlfriend Joy, and Joy is just a hologram, just a computer program.
Right.
But you get to see
she got feelings.
Yeah, you get these private moments where they are very much in love. But then it goes back to the question.
What is love?
Yeah, exactly.
Cue the music.
Yeah. And it's such a great movie because about 3/4 of the way, whenever that evil woman, Love, who ironically her name is Love, she smashes Joy's transmitter thing. You know, essentially killing Joy. Like it, you know, it kind of gets you like, no, you killed his girlfriend.
It was just a hologram.
It was just a hologram. But you really feel for her.
Harrison Ford shows up in this one.
I got a dog.
They fight for so long, and I almost can't take it. It definitely verges on, because I think I've talked about this before. I don't like most action movies because I don't like people hitting each other in the face. It just really grosses me out. Like, I can take a slasher film all day long, but don't hit someone in the face. Ugh, it's so gross. And they keep playing Elvis, and I don't like that either. Ugh. But it's not even Elvis; it's an Elvis impersonator, right?
Yeah, it's a hologram
Elvis
of an Elvis impersonator.
Yeah,
which,
so it's like, ooh, what does that mean?
Yeah, once again, they're playing into that. Like,
what is love?
Yeah.
Oh, water scene. Don't like water scenes either. When people are about to drown.
Oh, jeez.
Don't like that.
One part of the movie that I really liked is whenever Kay visits the orphanage. The orphanage itself is within Los Angeles Waste Processing District. And so there's also a commentary there on like orphans. And, you know, they're just garbage.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, these movies, man, they make you think about the life and death.
Yeah. Heavy movies, a lot of questions that that's one of the things I like about Ridley Scott films, and they're in these films and also in a lot of the Alien films. He loves to bring up a lot of these big questions, and then he won't answer any of them. You know, he's like, this will be great for the audience to think about, you know, whenever they're trying to get to sleep later.
And have anxiety about these big questions.
Heavy duty rock and roll, baby.
So when I was thinking about my song, I was thinking about songs about dying. You know, just keep it real punchy and positive over here. And so there's a song. So my favorite story in the world is Watership Down, about these bunnies, but it's not really about bunnies. But anyway, it's these bunnies. And in the movie version of Watership Down, there was a song by Art Garfunkel and called Bright Eyes. And I always wonder if the band Bright Eyes named themselves after that song. But anyway, I always loved that movie. I love this song. But the song does happen when like one of the bunnies, they're rabbits. I keep calling them bunnies. But anyway, passes on, dies. And so the song speaks to like, death and life and all, some of these bigger questions. So I thought, ooh, that'd be a good one for the Blade Runners. So I did a version of that.
That was beautiful.
I like that song. I'd never heard that song.
Yeah, I don't think it was super popular. I only know it from that movie. But yeah, there's also lots of talk about dreams. And I think where I really made the connection was that, the replicants have such a short lifespan. And so that's what this song speaks to. It's like, it's surprising that someone with such vigor and brightness, suddenly dies. And so I was like, ooh, yeah, that's like Roy.
Mm-hmm. Candle that burns twice as bright.
I thought you were going to say, like a candle in the
wind. Me too.
I should have done that song. That'd been fucking funny.
No, I'm glad you did that song. You know, you did a good keyboard arrangement.
Boing.
Yeah, it feels if you tied it into the Blade Runner feel with all of the sounds
The
that you have
80s
in
sounds.
there.
Yeah.
Also, I like the way that you handled the chorus of that song, because I think it would have been real easy to try to like almost like overdo the chorus in a way.
Oh.
But keeping the whole thing kind of somber, it felt more appropriate.
I don't think we talked about how this ties into Alien, but maybe we start our next episode about that. I don't know.
Yeah, so speaking of which, our next episode is going to be Prometheus and Covenant.
Yep. Prometheus and Covenant. That's right.
Prometheus and Covenant. Is that one movie or two?
It's
two movies.
Two.
Yep.
Prometheus is super awesome. Covenant has one flaw, and it's the casting director. Anyway, we'll talk more about that when that one comes. Thanks so much for listening to us, Butter Leggings. We really appreciate it. Make sure to check us out on butterlegspodcast.com.
Send us an email at hello@butterlegspodcast.com.
AOL.com.
Oh, yeah, and send us movie ideas, because after we finish up with the aliens, we'll need some new movies. Oh, yeah, I was going to say one more thing about Blade Runner. I was going to tell you that...
Meeting adjourned.